On your first day in Mordau, having gone through the menus in the settings, you'll probably find yourself launching the game's tutorial. Good choice. This will take you through the basic inputs and mechanics present in the game. All good and useful information. It does, however, offer very little insight into how they're actually integrated with the framework of Mordau, and understanding the structure of the game is of paramount importance. See, Mordau is fundamentally a turn-based slasher, built on the concept of initiative. But what is initiative? Most players figure this out naturally by themselves as they go along, but it's helpful to formalize the concept in words, as it eases the transition from a haphazard to an empirical playstyle. Having initiative to attack means that you're in a position within the space-time manifold to hit your opponent first, and consequently that they are unable to hit you. The game achieves this turn-based characteristic through a mechanic called first hit flinch. Out of two players swinging against each other, the one who gets hit first by the other will have their attack cancelled. But how do you know if you have initiative or not? First, let's define the term neutral, because it is central to the subject. Being in neutral simply means you're ready to start a new attack. The opposite would be recovery, and it is triggered by getting hit, parried, or by missing, and during this you cannot start a new attack. With both parties in neutral, initiative can be claimed in two ways. Number 1. You have a longer weapon than your opponent, and enough distance between the two of you that they are unable to reach you before your attack has gone into release phase. In practice, this means you should learn to always land the first hit on your opponent when you're running onto the battlefield or onto a new opponent, and have the longer weapon. Failure to do so means you have given up your initiative for free. Number 2. You have the faster weapon in the matchup, and are standing close enough to hit your opponent before they go into release phase. So with a faster weapon, you should always land the first hit when standing close to your opponent, if you're both in neutral. Otherwise you have again given up initiative for free. While these two rules dictate initiative for the opening of engagements, as well as intermissions where both parties go back into neutral, the majority of a duel is defined by recovery phases, and the game's main recovery distributor is the parry. Successfully parrying an attacker puts them in attack recovery, and if you start an attack directly after, you will be able to hit them first, even if their weapon is inherently faster, with some exceptions. What that means in practice is you should learn to always attack directly after connecting a parry. Wait for too long, and you risk giving up initiative for free. Likewise, after getting parried by your opponent, you do not have initiative to attack for a period of time, and should learn to stay your hand. Again, with some exceptions, since attacking without initiative, what's commonly referred to as gambling, means you will be forced to feign to parry, burning unnecessary stamina in the process, or worse, get hit by your opponent. Another situation where a lot of people misjudge initiative is when the attacker lands a hit on them successfully but doesn't combo. In most cases, the attacker will still maintain initiative regardless of weapon matchup, since landing a hit successfully shortens attack recovery substantially for the attacker, while the other player suffers recovery from getting hit. Initiative is a fascinating subject that gets a lot more complicated once we add chamber feinting and misses into the mix, or start exploring more dynamic fights with multiple players. I don't have time or frankly even the ability to go over it all today, but by following the 3 or 4 rules for distributing initiative that we just went over, you should be able to avoid most of the frustration that new players tend to experience when starting out. The grey areas in between, where it's not as easily defined, will simply have to be ironed out through trial and error, by collecting data, and doing so is absolutely essential. There are of course many other aspects of the game to improve at, before becoming a good player, but this is at the heart of everything. Producing the most ankle-breaking drag the world has ever seen serves no purpose if your enemy can hit you before it lands. And while connecting quintuple mid-riposte parries is a most beautiful display, even better is knowing which ones you needn't concern yourself with at all. Mastering initiative is mastering the game, and the best players have the best understanding of it. In an ideal world, where shields are perfect circles and everything is predictable, it is the only thing left to adhere to. It is the ultimate game, and consequently where every aspiring new player should start. Good luck.